Go for a look at our forecast here in Hampton Roads. A lot going on today, Evan. We have been just all over the place, but we know that we have to keep an eye on that climate because there may be a weather impact alert in our future.
Yeah, we do have a weather impact alert that is in effect for Sunday evening as we are looking at this coastal storm. And, even today, we had a lot of that fog out there. We had the dense fog advisory this morning. The fog has started to lift, and we're tracking some showers, even a couple of thunderstorms out there. It is pretty wild as we have gone here through this morning and into the early part of this afternoon. Again, we had the foggy conditions, and we've been watching this front that's sort of draped across the area, and it is lifted north, this warm front, and we have seen temperatures get up into the 70s in North Carolina. Haven't quite seen that here in Virginia just yet, but one thing you might notice is that we are starting to see quite a bit of clearing back here ahead of this cold front.
Okay.
So I expect that we will start to see some sunshine breaking through the clouds, and that will allow our temperatures to spike up a little bit.
So we're looking at two different fronts here. We have the warm front going north and the cold front coming east.
Yes.
Okay.
So if you remember yesterday, we were talking about the pips and the barbs.
The pips and the barbs.
So the pips here on this warm front show the warm front is lifting north. Okay. Earlier, this front was down here, and it's lifting north. And this cold front is moving to the east.
Okay.
So yes. So temperatures have come up quite a bit here in Norfolk. We're now up to 60 degrees. We've got the southwest winds coming in. And according to this, we are seeing a few breaks in the clouds. And looking at some of our cameras, we are seeing some brightening out there. Earlier, we were up into the 70s in Elizabeth City and Edenton. We're now down into the 60s. And I think, once we get a little bit more clearing, we will see these temperatures spike up a little bit more. Whether we get all the way up into the low 70s, it might be a little bit of a stretch. But now that that front has lifted off towards the north, we should start to see those temperatures spike. Now, we've been watching these showers roll through, and they've been fairly light, although you might notice that we are tracking down here in northeastern North Carolina, we've got a couple of thunderstorms moving through Dare County, approaching the Pamlico Sound. So nothing severe, but we do have that line of thunderstorms working its way here right now through mainland Dare County, just passing along the southern edge there of Roanoke Island, approaching Oregon Inlet and the Outer Banks. So we do have that line of thunderstorms where the air is much warmer. So as we go here through the rest of this afternoon, we will start to see some of that clearing. And then the big weather story is what happens this weekend. So as we get into Saturday, I think we'll start out with some clouds and a couple of showers around, and those showers will get pushed off towards the south. It's going to be one of those days where if you're up on the Middle Peninsula, Eastern Shore, you're going to see a lot more sunshine than off towards the south. And then as we get into Sunday, that's the day that we're watching, starting out with rain. And it's going to rain just about all day Sunday. This takes us through 3 p.m. But as we go into Sunday evening, as cold air gets pulled in behind the system, you can see all that green changes over to blue. That's rain changing over to snow. Now, it is very, very tough when you have this changeover situation on wet ground for that snow to really accumulate significantly. But if we get heavier bursts, then that can put down some snow.
Can I interrupt you for a layman's weather question?
Okay.
So I see you talking about snow coming in here, but then I look at these temperatures, and I don't understand how that can be snow when we have temperatures that are a safe distance from freezing level, up there in the high 30s.
Right. Fair question.
Yeah.
It can snow even in the low 40s.
Okay.
Now, the thing is once that snow hits the ground, it melts pretty quickly. So, so you could have snow even above freezing, because a lot of times that layer of warm air is very shallow. You go up, a couple hundred feet and it might still be below freezing.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so, it's kind of like there are cases where, like the top of a skyscraper, it's snowing, and the bottom, it's raining.
Hence the tops of mountains where those snow caps.
Exactly.
That we see. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, even just a few hundred feet up, even though the ground is 36, a couple hundred feet up, it still might be below freezing. So not enough time for the snowflake to melt.
Which is all to say we don't expect much accumulation, I'm assuming.
That would be a safe assumption. This is the latest run of Futurecast. And we'll just look at those numbers for a moment. Yeah, a foot of snow, Chincoteague. That's what Futurecast is saying. 2 inches in Norfolk, 4 inches in Virginia Beach. That's not going to happen.
Okay.
Because most of that snow is going to melt.
Right.
Now, that doesn't mean that we won't get some slushy accumulation on grass and cars and things like that. And if the snow comes down heavy enough, it can overcome those temperatures in the mid-30s, and that snow can start to accumulate. So I think we will get some minor accumulations. The best chances for that would be northern areas, northern neck, middle peninsula, and the eastern shore. And I wouldn't be surprised if, the peninsula and parts of Southside get a little bit of some minor accumulation. But as you rightly pointed out, those temperatures will be above freezing. So a lot of that snow will likely melt on contact.
Okay.
If it comes down heavy enough, you're just bombarding it, with a lot, then you might get some more of that slushy accumulation. It could be enough to make some slick roadways. And it all really does depend on the timing of that cold air working its way in. So we'll fine tune that a little bit more. So that is just what the computer is saying. That is not what we're saying is going to happen. And we'll, come up with a little bit of a better snow map. I think we'll probably go somewhere, 0 to 2 inches or something like that. So, but because that potential is there, we do have that weather impact alert Sunday night, maybe into early Monday morning for that rain changing over to snow.
Okay, fantastic. All right, so we have our weather impact alert. We're looking at that potential, but you did do a great job of noting all the forces at play here that will likely prevent us from having what would be categorized as a major weather event or snowfall. But it's something you guys are still monitoring.
Right. So yes, that is the thing. I think we will have some impacts. I don't think there will be significant impacts.
Is it something that could potentially impact school attendance on Monday morning? Are we talking about that level of impact?
Possibly, and ignore the banner because I just pulled up this graphic. I haven't even had time to go in there and edit it yet, so I'll go ahead and do that right now. Just kind of to show you what the other computer models are showing. Let's see, we'll take that off here and see if some of those numbers will update on this graphic. But anyways, you can see the GFS and the Euro, are not saying as much. They're saying, a couple inches, and, still northern areas seeing a little bit of a better chance. Not sure why that NAM graphic isn't updating, but let's see if I can get in there.
The NAM graphic's a little stuck here, huh? I mean, it's a
because
Friday.
You just threw this at me.
I did.
I didn't know that I was coming in here. I was told, go enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
We did, yeah. While we try to get the NAM graphic going, I will. Let's fill the audience in here. Evan was so nice. He came in here 1:45 today. He said, "Do you guys need me? Is there anything I can do for you? Can I help you in any way?" And I said, "Nope, Evan, get out of here.
Yes.
You go have yourself a good time. Have an enjoyable Friday afternoon." And then, lo and behold, 40 minutes later, we sent for him.
no, and that's perfectly fine. Yeah, and I'm not. Let's see. So, that's why that is different because that's 2 day, and this would be a 3 day.
We know we had the weather impact alert. We want to make sure we want to make sure we're bringing you guys all the updates as soon as we can, knowing that there is potential precipitation issues coming.
Right, and
weekend.
I'm just giving you guys a hard time.
That's okay. We deserve.
No. All right.
Oh,
there we go.
That is also fair.
Yeah.
But honestly, we can all just blame the NOM, right? I mean, the NOM forecast model is. And there it goes. It felt the pressure a little bit.
Had to update it. So again, all the models are calling for some snow, but again, that doesn't mean that is what you're going to wake up to, because you can have 2 inches of snow that falls and all of it melts on contact. Right. So, the official snowfall report might be 2 inches of snow, but, if it melts, it's like if a tree falls in the wood and no one's there to hear it, doesn't make a sound. Right. It's like if 2 inches of snow falls and it melts.
We were just talking about that phrase earlier today. I actually butchered it, I think, when we did it earlier today. It's crazy you mentioned that. Okay, back to the forecast.
No. That's fine. I want to know. Now I'm curious. What is the context?
What were we talking about? I can't remember exactly, Naya. But I used that phrase, and I cannot remember what we were talking about. Well, if we think of it, we'll tell you.
Okay.
Yeah, if it comes to us, we'll tell you. But I did use if a tree falls in the forest and no one's around to hear it, does it make a sound? And Naya's answer definitively was yes.
I mean, just because no one hears it doesn't mean that it didn't make a sound. It still made a sound.
100%, but it's all a matter of perspective.
I mean, it's just like the Schrodinger's cat sort of thing.
Yeah.
Stuff.
All right, so we've got a weekend coming up where
Yes.
everything will need to be monitored. If people want to continue to watch that, they can keep an eye on 13 News Now Plus, weather 24/7. You can get all of those updated forecasts. As for today, like you said, we're still waiting for that full warmth to come in, right? I mean, it was a little colder than I thought it would be, kind of early afternoon.
Right. Yeah. We haven't seen, that warm front and that warm air totally punch through just yet. Let's take a look at some of our cameras. And I apologize again if some of the city names might be wrong because we sometimes change these cameras out. But no, they're all correct here. So we have seen, some breaks in the clouds like we're seeing up towards Williamsburg right now. It looks like it's brightening up. We can see shadows now. So we have started to see some of that clearing up around Williamsburg, Newport News, and even look at Hampton. We can see some shadows and some blue sky. So we are starting to see that clearing. And the big question now is going to be, can we get these temperatures to respond, because notice that they have moved that front just a little bit, that positioning of the front in the analysis here. So I think this is probably a little bit of a better example. We got the warmer air. It's still, I think you could probably even move that back up in here. But we have seen the temperatures warm up here in Norfolk. We got the southwest wind, so we should see these temperatures come up a little bit more. Maybe not hit 70, but we should probably at least get into the mid 60s like we are seeing in Currituck and Manio. And I know earlier today Elizabeth City got up to low 70s. So we did have some warm air out there a little bit earlier.
Okay, very good. Anything else that we need to know?
That's probably about it, other than, we will continue to update the forecast here as we go through the, afternoon. We'll get more information in. Of course, I'll be in on the 4 o'clock news. Tim will be in as we get into the 5:30, 6, 6:30, and 11. And then tomorrow, I'll be in tomorrow evening, and Taylor will be in tomorrow morning, so we'll have more information then as well. And Tim will be in Sunday night tracking whatever happens.
Okay, an all-out, full-scale effort from our weather team as they monitor any possible conditions that could affect everyone here in Hampton Roads and
That's
Northeast
right.
North
And again,
Carolina.
this is not going to be, I said it on the noon show. Let's see if you know this reference. This is not going to be the big one, Elizabeth.
Right?
Do you know the reference?
Mm-mm.
Milla?
We got Jamila Cromartie
Yeah.
has joined us here in the studio.
So-
Also does not know the reference. Okay.
Well, I know I'm dating myself, but it was from a Sanford and Son when Fred Sanford would have a heart attack. He's like, it's the big one, Elizabeth, because his wife had passed away. So this is not going to be the big one.
Okay. All
This
right.
is not.
Was
This is
little background
Yeah,
information.
Ashley got it on the noon show.
Oh, no.
So this is going to be, and this is going to have some impacts. This is not going to be a major impact for the entire area. Shut things down. Could there be some school delays? Possibly in some of our northern areas. We'll see how the things evolve. So this is sort of that, here's the alert that potential is there. Doesn't mean it's necessarily going to happen exactly the way we see it right now.
Right.
Things evolve, things change. It's a forecast. We get new information all the time, but as we see it right now, there will be some impacts. At this point, it doesn't look like there will be significant impacts.
Okay. Fantastic.
But-
Evan Stewart.
But weather's always impactful.
Weather's always impactful,
you
no
know,
matter what it is. Sunshine, rain, it could be 70 and sunny. It's going to impact your life, which is why it is so critical that we have Evan Stewart on here with us, even if it was on short notice today. And you bailed on me on the 6:30 p.m. stream. What happened?
Well, I'm since Craig is on vacation,
Right.
I'm working
Craig
an early
Bowler
shift.
on vacation, yep.
So, when people are on vacation, we shift.
They give Craig vacations?
Yeah, Craig gets a lot of vacation.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I don't get to see you at 6:30, but I will see you at 4 o'clock, all on 13 News Now with more information on this weather forecast. We get a very, very up and down weather situation continues here in Hampton Roads. Evan, we appreciate you as always.
My pleasure. And we're friends here. We just like to tease a little bit. So
Listen.
hopefully that comes across in the stream.
We've got Sanford and Son. We've got trees falling in the forest. We've got weather impact alerts. Always an eventful time with Evan here. And yes, we do like to mess with each other other just a little bit here on Live Impact News. Plus, it's a Friday. You know,
Yeah, that's right.
We gotta step out a little bit on Friday
Not for
and
me.
try to enjoy ourselves.
Not for me since I have to work.
That I apologize for.
That's
That was actually an unintentional roast. Even when we're not trying, it happens. We'll have a wonderful shift tomorrow.
Thank you. I will.
Yes. Naya and I will think of you when we are out and about. On Saturday.
That's right. Yeah, weren't you supposed to go two-stepping this weekend?
I don't know anything about any two-stepping.
I thought that was tonight, right?
Well,
Yeah.
that was actually me who that was me who assumed that we would all be two-stepping. But you know, sometimes you just got to cozy up and watch a little bit of
Night Agent.
Night Agent. We are two-stepping Night Agent, a big-time recommendation from Nia Campbell. This was a strong, everyone needs to watch this show recommendation from Nia Campbell.
What is that streaming on?
Netflix.
Netflix? Okay.
Oh, no free
That's
shout-outs.
what I will be doing tonight.
Yes, the Night Agent, and we look forward to your reviews. And we're going to have to watch it at some point because this is, I think, the strongest recommendation since Scandal that we've gotten from you on a television show.
Scandal was good.
Scandal was good. We're one episode into Scandal.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
we have taken Naya's advice.
Oh, yeah.
We're watching it periodically.
Yeah, Kerry Washington, amazing. Yeah.
All right, Evan Stewart, thank you so much for joining us. A wonderful, wonderful Friday forecast from Evan.